This is News You Can Use.
To start this year, 2022, we hosted a meeting with Doug Duncan, our good friend, Senior Vice President and Chief Economist with Fannie Mae, to discuss his latest economic forecast and housing forecast for the year. Over the years, no economist has more accurately predicted what's coming next for our industry than Doug Duncan and his team at Fannie Mae. He shared a wealth of knowledge that we'll be sharing with you in bite-sized pieces over the coming weeks. The housing market's going to be different this year. It is every year. And in some ways in 2022, it's going to be more challenging. We all just need to adjust to the new conditions that exist so that we can find our way to our best this year. Check out Doug's insights to help you become the most informed professional possible. All right, at the risk of having people have to get paper bags to breathe out of, okay? So if you stress and angst, you might want to get a paper bag for the next question I'm going to ask Doug. You can put it on pause and then come back and listen to the answer. Doug, what are the upside risks to your forecast in housing? Like what can happen that could actually improve the forecast that you have for 2022? And what are the downside risks?
Yeah, I would say the upside risk is that the Fed does a very good job of negotiating the near term versus longer term interest rate environment in view of inflation. They get it right. And so the initial signals that they send and actions that they take forestall the need for more aggressive posture, and the market responds by settling down. Interest rates don't go as far as could possibly be with a more aggressive policy. And think back to the beginning of 2021, we saw a run up in the 10-year Treasury that got up to about where it is today. And then it came back down about 50 basis points when the market realized they'd overshot the expectations. So that is distinctly a possibility. We might have this short-term rise to get comfortable where the Fed is. Inflation starts to come down to the Fed's target, and things are better than we had anticipated. The second, the downside risk is now the Fed's way behind the curve. They have to get really aggressive, and they tip the economy over into recession. And the problem there is they don't have a lot of tools left to operate if that were to happen, because interest rates are close to zero. They could bring them back to zero if they get, let's say they get them up to 100 basis points on the Fed funds target. They bring it back to zero. Then they got to go back to the balance sheet, and that's part of the reason we're seeing the inflation today. So that they're in a tough spot. But that's the number one thing I would watch. Today, you're going to see an employment report. The ADP, which comes out the day before the Labor Department data, showed a big jump in employment. If there is a big jump in employment this morning, I think you're going to see markets react and rates are going to rise again.
Yep. So for all of our viewers that are the praying type, they need to be praying that the Fed basically threads the needle. If we're wanting a stable and a good housing market for the next year and 2 years, we need the Fed to get it right at this point, and they've got certainly a lot of complexity. Thank you, Doug, for offering your insights to all of us. We'll be back next week with more News You Can Use.